maturing and growing up, I just realized like that's not the life I want to live. Like I don't want to be out here putting myself in danger. I don't want to be out here hanging out with people that I don't like, that are disrespectful. It was a lot of different factors, and it was over time, right? Another reason you might break up with a friend is because they're not prioritizing your friendship, right? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode this week. So happy to be back with a solo episode. We are in our last couple weeks of summer. I know some of you guys might be really sad and you're like, stop saying that. But it's true, okay? It's just a reminder so that we can soak up what's left, like really take advantage, make your beach trips, all that, like get outside, enjoy the sun, enjoy the warm weather, because winter's coming, honey, especially if you're on Northeast coast, I like fall. I'm a fall baby. I love fall. So I'm looking forward to the fall. However, the winter, I'm not. Winter, I'm definitely not. I'm actually trying to gather an escape plan, but besides the point. Welcome back to another episode. So happy to be here and to dive into another episode. Now, some of you guys have definitely DM'd me, or you answered the question that I had on my Instagram story. And some of you guys have asked about me covering the topic of friendships. And that's so funny because if you guys listened to my last solo episode where I was talking about like the 5 types of people that we should stay away from, I definitely hinted that I would be talking about like friendships, specifically friendship breakups. So today we're going to be diving into that topic a little bit. I feel like friendship breakups are very, very normal. Especially like the older you get, the more that you realize not everybody is for you. Not everybody's meant to be your friend. Not everybody's meant to come on the ride with you. And I feel like, I'm only 32. I'll be 33 this year. So I don't have like all this life experience, right? I only have experience based on my 32 years of life and the friendships, the relationships that I've experienced, right? And one thing I would say before we dive a little bit deeper into this topic is that most of the friends that I had in my 20s, like they were people that I started being friends with from like a young age. So middle school, high school, some people even like from church, like growing up around these people. And most of those people I'm not really friends with anymore. And it's not because it was a big falling out. It's not because we got into like a huge fight. It's not because somebody slept with somebody's man. Like it was none of that. It was simply outgrowing, right? Simply outgrowing, simply realizing, okay, we're on 2 different completely pages here. Like I'm on this path, I'm going this way, you're going that way, you're making a sharp left. Like I'm not trying to go that way. So we're just gonna go our separate ways. And that's cool and that's fine. And it doesn't always need a discussion, right? It doesn't always need like this closure. It doesn't always need to end, again, like I said, in an argument. It doesn't need to be this big, huge breakup, right? A lot of the times, like you're just going to fall off naturally. So I want to talk about some of the reasons why we might decide to break up with a friend. So for me, in my 20s, a lot of the friendships that I had were based around going out, going to the club, partying, doing fun things, drinking, all that fun stuff. I did have like some dance friends who I'm still friends with to this day. But a lot of those friendships were like, not that they were super surface, but there wasn't really the depth that I look for now at 32 in my friendships, right? Like I need to be able to fully be myself. I need to be able to show up authentically. I need to be able to speak my truth. I also need to feel comfortable enough around you to say what I need to say if there is any type of animosity or weird feelings. And to be honest with you, like my friends that I have at this point in my life, some of them I've been friends with for a couple years, some of them I just met, but for the most part, like I feel that connection and I feel that sense of comfortability that I can just be myself, that I can express this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm doing. This is the wave that I'm on right now. This is what I'm working on. This is the space that I need. Another really huge important factor with friendships is boundaries. Knowing how to set boundaries, okay? Like I have had to learn this. I have had to learn this over the last couple years, like really just setting boundaries. No, I can't hang out. No, I need to get this done. No, I'm going through this. You're not really going to see me in this period of my life. No, I'm in a relationship. I'm spending more time with my boo, whatever it is, right? Just setting boundaries and being open and clear and honest and being able to communicate, right? That's what boundaries is about. It's not about just being mean and cutting people off and being like, no, I can't do that. And no. Boundaries is not about always saying no. I actually have a episode, like a super earlier episode about boundaries, probably like episode 5 or 6. You guys can definitely check it out and I'll link it in the show notes. But, boundaries is not about just saying no. It's about clearly communicating your needs, clearly communicating your expectations, clearly communicating what the expectations are in the relationship or the friendship, okay? So when we have a lack of boundaries, or when you have friends who are constantly overstepping your boundaries or not respecting your boundaries, then we have a problem, right? Then shit starts getting a little shaky, right? So that's where you really have to take a step back, look from an outside perspective, maybe talk to a third party friend or talk to a therapist and be like, am I bugging? Or does this person really not respect my boundaries, right? Especially if you've already had the conversation with a friend like, hey, I don't like doing this. Hey, I'm not trying to do that. Hey, don't put me in these situations. One of the reasons I'm not friends with one of my friends who we were friends with for a really long time is because she kept putting me in situations where I was super uncomfortable, and not to blame her. Like I was 100% an active participant, in some of these situations as well. But there were a lot of times where the truth just wasn't being spoken. Like there would be situations, for instance, we would go out with like her man and her man's friends, and like we would end up somewhere completely different from like where I thought we were going. There would be situations where like I really thought my life was in danger, and just maturing and growing up, I just realized like that's not the life I want to live. Like I don't want to be out here putting myself in danger. I don't want to be out here hanging out with people that I don't like, that are disrespectful. It was a lot of different factors, and it was over time, right? Another reason you might break up with a friend is because they're not prioritizing your friendship, right? You might deal with a friend who's constantly making plans with you and then canceling plans last minute, or ditching you, or choosing to hang out with other people over you when you guys already had plans. There's so many different reasons, right? But what it really comes down to is self-respect. Self-respect is going to determine what type of friends you have in your circle. Because if you don't have self-respect, right? If you don't really understand like your needs, who you are, what you require, all of those things, you're just going to keep attracting friends that like, it's not really solid, right? Like, and we want solid friendships. We want reliable people around us. And again, this is going to depend on where you are in your life. In your 20s, whatever, who cares, right? Like maybe you're not at that phase where you're really looking for like deep connections. Maybe you just want to party. Maybe you just want to hang out with people who are going to get you in certain rooms, or be your ride or die, or, be there when you're trying to, be in your whole phase, whatever it is. Okay. Whatever it is. But you have to determine that wherever you are in your life. This is a good journal prompt. Like write down, what type of friends do I need at this time in my life? Like that's a really good journal prompt. Just get super clear about it. Okay, hold up. Before we get too real into this conversation, I wanted to let you know that registration is now open for both of our retreats coming up in 2025. We are going back to Arizona. Yup, back to where it started, baby. We're heading to Sedona in Scottsdale for 4 nights, 5 days to heal, to meditate, to ground ourselves, to have a deeper connection with ourselves. This is going to be a completely transformative experience. Join us for the Phoenix Rising Retreat from March 13th to the 17th, 2025. This is going to be amazing. amazing. If you've been asking about our first domestic retreat of 2025, well, this is it. We literally just opened registration. So reserve your spot. It's going to be freaking amazing. You can find all of our details on our website. And don't forget the Goddess Retreat in Greece. We're heading to Mykonos and the beautiful hidden gem Andros for 7 days, 6 nights from May 7th to the 13th. This is going to be an amazing experience if you're looking to connect with your feminine energy, if you're looking to soften, if you're looking to heal, if you're looking to really have a deeper connection with women and community and nature, and to really just soak in all that Greek goddess energy. So if you're interested and you're looking to take some time for yourself and start 2025 by putting yourself first and prioritizing your mental health, your self-care, your spirituality, your connection with yourself, then I invite you to register for our retreat. The only thing that's required to book is a deposit, and then you can make monthly payment arrangements up until January and February for the retreat. So any questions, feel free to hit us up at Real Hot Retreats on Instagram. Take a look at our previous retreats, see if you're feeling out the vibes. But now let's talk about how we cope with the friendship breakups, right? Because they don't always feel good, right? Friendship breakup, relationship breakup, they are very, very similar. You might invest the same amount of time and energy into a friendship that you do into a romantic relationship, right? So how do we deal with this? Number one, you want to try not to end things crazy, right? There's no need to have an argument, and sometimes it might get there. I've never really ended a friendship based on like an argument or like a blow up, but I've definitely have had maybe like 1 or 2 blow ups with friends in the past due to a man and being involved. But you just have to figure out, like, is this worth whatever this is giving me right now? Is this worth the headache? Is this worth the stress? Is this worth me feeling less than? Is this worth me constantly begging for time and attention? Is this worth me, even spending money that I don't have, right? There could be friends where like you're constantly feeling pressured to like go out. Again, that's a boundary. That's a boundary that you have to set. So if your friend is constantly inviting you out after you already told them like, hey girl, I'm trying to stack my money. Hey girl, I'm trying to save my money. I'm trying to do this with my money. And they're not understanding or respecting that boundary. Well, that's either a conversation that needs to be had, or you just need to back off. You just need to, take a step back from the friendship. So it really just comes down to realizing and understanding like, this is where I'm at. This is where you're at. It's not going to work, and yes, it's going to be sad. Yes, it's going to feel weird. Yes, it's going to feel like, damn, like I really lost my friend. But when you think about it and you put it in the perspective, like, was this person really actually adding to my life, or were they draining me? Was this person actually a good friend to me? Did this person actually care about me? Does this person actually love me? Would this person actually show up for me when I needed them? And vice versa. Ask yourself the same questions about them. Would I show up for them in this capacity? Was I being a good friend to them? So asking yourself those questions, once you have the clarity and you understand why the friendship can't go on, then the grieving process will feel a little less intense. And yes, there's always going to be a grieving process. We grieve any and everything, okay? If I dropped my food on the floor, I'm grieving, okay? I'm grieving for at least 2 days. So there's always going to be this grieving process when losing friends or breaking up. But when you have that clarity again and that understanding that this is not working out, this is not serving me, I can't take this friendship into the next chapter of my life, then it should feel a little bit less heavy. So I hope that this episode was helpful to you today. If you are going through a friendship breakup, if you're thinking about ending a friendship, if you have been holding on to a friend just because, oh my God, we've been friends for 10 years. Oh my God, we've been friends for 20 years. Like, what is time? What is time? Okay. Time does not mean anything. Okay. Just because someone has been in your life for a certain amount of time, that does not mean that they are meant to continue to be in your life. We are constantly changing and evolving as humans. And if you're not changing and you're not evolving and you're not trying to become someone better and you're staying around the same people, the same environments, the same lackluster friendships, right? Then you're not really going to get to the place of feeling fulfilled, happy, content in your relationship. So that's something that you have to work on as we continue to work on ourselves, as we continue to show up for ourselves, as we continue to put in the work, right? Prioritize our mental health, get clear, get honest with who we are, journal your thoughts, journal where you are in your life. You have to be the one that takes control of your relationships. Otherwise, you're just going to get pulled in so many different directions and you're going to constantly feel drained and you're going to constantly feel like you're missing something. So life is too short to stay in friendships and relationships that are not serving you, boo. Okay. So get out there, do what you got to do, find the people that you're meant to be friends with, find your tribe, and let's continue living our lives. Okay. So this is going to wrap up today's episode. Really appreciate you being here. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please feel free to leave a rating and review so that more people can find the podcast and it can continue to grow into something beautiful. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, drop a comment, let me know what you thought about this episode or what type of friends you're calling in. Like, let's manifest it. Let's speak it out loud. What type of friends are you looking for? Okay. They might pop up. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and we'll see you on Friday for another episode. See y'all. Bye.